r/AskReddit. What's the worst thing to say to the person next to you in a urinal? Buddy of mine, midway through a bottle of antibiotics that turned his piss deep orange, went to the bathroom at a baseball game. Restroom had one of those long angle troughs, and he gets on the very end. Everyone goes quiet when a wave of deep orange urine runs across everyone's streams, and he now has an entire trough line of heads looking at him. The guy next to him says, "Your girlfriend a pumpkin dude?" "Yeah, I know, my kid has one like that." "Yeah, I'm really worried about her. She takes after her mother too much. How can I uneat this, please?" When you're done, quietly say goodbye, pat them on the back, and walk away. Oh wow, I can't see anything that had confused and concerned me more than this. It's got everything. Physically contact, the uncomfortableness of saying goodbye despite not having spoken, and just how calm the other person would probably be. All it needs is that pat to be a short rub on the shoulder or caress along cheekbone. Which cheek? I had a friend who had an experience like that in a Walmart bathroom. A guy apparently walked up behind my friend while he was at the urinal, whispered "How's your dad doing?" into his ear, and left like nothing happened. It would have been one thing if he knew the guy, but he was a complete stranger. Knowing me, I'd be like, "He's doing well, thanks." It would only hit me later in the day how absolutely batshit weird that is. Phone camera sound. I'm imagining someone just standing there saying phone camera sound, phone camera sound. This would honestly be more disturbing than most the other ones here. It would indicate mental instability. "Aren't you my daughter's boyfriend?" "No." "Do you want to be?" "I need to take a dump. Should I just turn around?" Gas station workers reading this likely just had numb-like flashbacks. When I worked at one as a teenager, there was a guy who took a stealthy juice in the urinal, and my co-worker and I had to rock/paper/scissors to determine who had to clean it. I won, and the other guy just put a slippery when wet sign in front of the urinal and clocked out. "Whoa dude, who did your circumcision? Did it hurt?" "Couldn't walk for 12 months. Some people would call that an earth year. Meaty slap sound. Whoa, nice cock. Thick, but not too flaccid. Perfect length. A nice 80-degree angle. Could trim the hairs, but we'll work on it. Yep. If say that's a pretty good cock. I rate it 8.5 out of 10. Good job, kiddo. Just scream as loud and sudden as you can. Bonus points if you stop and act like nothing happened. Oh, hey Jim. Yeah, I know, I saw daughters at the yoga studio this past weekend. Man, they grow so fast. How old are they now? 18. Are they 18? Jim, are your daughters 18 yet? Answer Jim. Jim, I know. You understood that wrong. No Jim, listen to me, god damn it. Don't leave me Jim. I need to see your daughters. I was using the restroom that was mainly used by people in a different department, and a co-worker from that department walked in right after me. Right after he walks up to the urinal, he says, "Wrong neighborhood," in a joking manner. Him and I BS fairly regularly. He's definitely one of my workplace friends. My uniform is mainly red, and his uniform is mainly blue. I'm white, and he's black. We are standing at the urinals, only two in this restroom, no divider, and in my head, a joke pops into my head. White guy and black guy wearing opposite gang colors, standing next to each other, and there is no issue. The divisive nature of media and all that bullshit doesn't exist. There is peace. All this took place in my mind over the course of about 2 seconds, and I was gonna point it out to him, so I say, "Check this out." He says nope immediately. Now, right away, I see the error of my ways and I start busting up laughing. I have to quickly explain what I meant, and he starts cracking up too. Legit one of the funniest things I've ever been a part of. This was a reminder of why we don't talk in the men's room. Are you gonna drink that, or can I have it? This was the one that made me stop reading this thread. Nothing. Just slap one hand on the wall, and then while you have their attention, slap the other hand on the wall and hold them there. Look them dead in the eyes and say, "Waluigi is a man only seen in mirror images. Lost in the hall of mirrors, he is a reflection of a reflection." You start with Mario, the wholesome old Italian plumbing superman. You reflect him to create Luigi, the same thing but slightly less. You invert Mario to create Wario. Mario turned septic and libertarian. Then you reflect the inversion in the reflection. You created a being who can only exist in reference to others. Waluigi is the true nowhere man. Without the other characters he reflects, inverts and parodies, he has no reason to exist. Waluigi's identity only comes from what and who he isn't. Without a wider frame of reference he is nothing. He is not his own man. In a world where our identities are shaped by our warped relationships to brands, celebrities, and commerce, we are all Waluigi. Yeah, it is pretty inconsiderate to give someone a boner while they're peeing. One time at a college football game, my buddy and I went to piss during halftime. It was so crowded we had to stand in line, and it felt damn near shoulder to shoulder at the urinals. Anyways, as I got to the urinal I glanced to my right and saw a National Guard, there for security, in full outfit with a rifle hanging off his shoulder. Without hesitation, I shouted, "Wow guys, this dude has a huge gun," and the entire bathroom bursted into laughter. Holy shit. Is that what foreskin looks like? Gross. Can I smell it? Thank you for being on Smegma Patrol. The world needs brave Smegma warriors. One of my mates once tried to let out a massive fart next to a stranger at a urinal once and ended up loudly shatting himself. The dude just looked at him and said, "That's duck, mate." What else is there to say? Do you know what the gargoyle is? True story. At a equestrian fundraiser ball, I was at the urinal and the guy next to me looked at me and asked, "Do you know what the gargoyle is?" I don't think I answered. I just looked at him. He then proceeded to aim his peen upwards while still peeing, then opened his mouth and leaned forward, peeing into his own mouth. I walked out of the men's room, shocked, and made eye contact with a woman who was just coming out of the ladies' room. I blurted out to her, "I just saw a guy pee in his own mouth." She looked at me like I was the crazy one. Definitely up there with the strangest moments in my life. Bro, we are making eye contact with our cocks out. We are basically brothers. I've used that one a couple times. This happened to me in real life when I worked at a big regional office for State Farm. My boss's boss used the urinal immediately next to me. This wouldn't be weird if there weren't 8 other urinals in the bathroom and we hadn't been alone. Although I maintained laser eye focus on the ceramic tile in front of me, I could tell from my peripheral vision that he was staring straight at me. WTF. This made me very uncomfortable, but there was nothing I could do. Once I finished, I quickly turned around, politely nodded, then headed for the row of sinks located on the opposite side of the urinals. I looked up at the mirror when I finished washing my hands. Dude was still at the urinals, but by now he had finished and turned around. He was staring at my reflection in the mirror. Now I was really freaked out. At least he was zipped up. In a very matter-of-fact voice, he asked, "Jay, are you married?" I was scared and confused by his query, and by now I couldn't hide it. "No, why do you ask?" "Because your supervisor recommended you for our catastrophe adjuster team. If you agree, you'll have to deploy to Louisiana this weekend, post-Hurricane Katrina, and expect to be there upwards of a year. This is usually a deal breaker for married associates." I can't describe the relief. "Don't worry about it, keep going." This is literally what a friend of mine was told as he was pissing at a trough-style urinal in a Berlin techno club. But it gets worse with context. He was pissing, looking straight ahead, when suddenly he heard the sound of his piss hitting the metal trough change into a more hollow sound. So he looked down, and there was a dude with his head in the trough trying to catch the piss stream in his mouth. My friend obviously stopped in horror. That's when the dude said, "Don't worry about it, keep going." One of my co-workers actually said this to me at a urinal. "Let's cross swords." Followed by him moving over to share the urinal with me. I had to physically push him away. This happened to me just before the shutdown. My CEO, who I talk with frequently about our families, comes into the bathroom as I'm going and says out of the blue, "How's the little guy?" I just sat up before he went red and realized his wording and timing, and then adding, "Your son, how's your son?" We both started laughing, but it definitely made it weird.